Good morning. Thanks for watching. I appreciate you clicking on me and watching my video. Um, don't worry, today we're not going to talk about headspace again. We're not going to mention headspace, and hopefully not mention headspace again as as long as I live. No, that it's something that I have to deal with every day, but it certainly isn't something you have to deal with every day. But today, what I have is I have one of my favorite types of guns, and what I have is I have a lever action repeating rifle. Uh, I like the lever actions. There's something about uh, just the lever action, and I have two Winchesters, and they're two of some of my favorite rifles that I have. At least the newer rifles that I have, and they shoot a sizable round, a good round, and they're good for going out if you're going out hunting in the woods and so forth. But anyway, so I have a rifle, and what I'd like to do before I get started is I'd like to talk a little bit about repeating rifles in general, and maybe a little bit of the history of the repeating rifle. Most people think that repeating rifles, when you hear about it, you say, well, there's Marlin and there's Winchester and there's Henry. Those are the ones that are pretty much survived, okay, for now. And I like the Henrys too. Their receivers they're real shiny, brass type receivers, really nice. Anyway, at the time they were made by Winchester, started making repeating rifles in 1873. The Henry, who worked for Winchester, he was a Winchester employee at one time. Uh, we have the Marlins. Colt. Colt put out a model 6403, and the 6403 was a repeating handgun, which I thought was pretty interesting. But it's a repeating handgun revolver. It was a revolver. And Mossberg put out a repeating rifle in 30-30 and in 22. And as far as I know, they're still making the 22s anyway. I know. I'm not sure. They might be still making the 30-30s. So that's a good one. In 1826, in Italy, a uh, a guy came out with a design and got it patented, and it was a repeating pistol. It used pistol rounds, but it was new. I mean, it was 1826. I mean, that's pretty early, and he started that. The first repeating rifle was Colt, and what Colt did was they put, instead of the ring lever in the back, they put this little ring in front of the trigger. So you'd shoot and you, and what they used was they used pistol rounds for their repeating rifle. So that was pretty interesting. Um, then they had some significant changes that happened, and this was during the Civil War, and we had the Spencer repeating rifles were used, and also you had the Henry repeating rifle. The Spencer had a magazine that loaded in the back, sort of like that, like a 22. I had a 22 that you put your rounds in the back and you load them in that way there. And Henry took the magazine and put the magazine where it is today, up in front of the underneath the barrel. So this was good, and that was a good way to store your ammunition both ways. But part of the problem was the bullets that were being made were had had points on them because point to bullet travels fast. So what they had to do was develop a rounded bullet, and this is a 30-30 here, and of course this is modern, but the 30-30 has a rounded top on it, and that way there, so that when you fire, and the jolt doesn't set off a chain reaction inside your magazine. And I guess that must have happened because they came up with the idea that that's something that they didn't want to do. One of the things that Henry also did was he took and put the hammer in line with the like it is today, modern, where in the past the hammer was offset on the side, just like a musket. And he did that because he thought that was more efficient, and apparently it was because that's what we do now. Um, Marlin put out the first repeating rifle that was for for everybody. It was very popular, and that was in 1881, and it used the 45-70 and the 23-55 rounds. They're bigger rounds. Marlin can handle a bigger round than Winchester. It's a much heavier gun. It's made out of forged steel. It and that's one of the appeals is that with the Marlin you can get a higher caliber, uh, larger caliber round to go in it than you can with the Winchester. And I'm not ragging on the Winchester. I like Winchesters. I have two of them. This isn't even my Marlin. This is my son's. He is in the Air Force, and he I'm babysitting his guns for him while he's gone. So let's see. Sorry, I have to. Memory is not what it used to be. So um, Marlin also they made not only the lever action guns, but like Winchester, they made some automatics. Winchester must have made some automatic, but I'm not sure I remember. And but I know that Marlin made some automatics and bolt actions also, and Winchester made bolt actions. In 2007, um, the Marlin Company was bought by Remington, and we all know what happened to Remington. So that in 2020, it was bought by Ruger. Ruger, and they have several different gun companies together, but the main one is Ruger. Marlins are made in the United States. They're this one in 2015 was made in New York. So I mean, so they're made in the USA, and you can't really say that about Winchesters. And unfortunately, they had their little bout with Japan and so forth. And but I love my Winchester. So okay, during World War One, the Marlin Company, we're going back a little bit again, uh, they were the largest manufacturer of machine guns, and they made machine guns for airplanes, for the World War One airplanes. You know, you see you can imagine the plane with the two um, machine guns on top of the fuselage. Those were made by the Marlin. They were made by Marlin, and they actually went by a different name, and eventually they were known as the Marlin guns. And so what happened was they were worried because they had actually gotten away from their main mission, which was to produce sporting firearms. That's what they really wanted to do, is to produce sporting firearms. So they bought a company called Hopkins Allen, and they used that to get back to their roots again. For most of the century, they kind of played second fiddle to the Winchester. People liked the Winchester, and they still like the Winchester. And uh, but as Winchester started to wane, um, I guess after 64, most people would say that's when things started going downhill for Winchester. Um, Marlin started going up, and Marlin produced a wonderful gun. I mean, they produced a great one. They caught up and they surpassed. And some of the well, we'll talk about what some of the reasons for that, as far as the physical attributes of the gun. And we what I have is um, it's a model 336W, and it's a and let's say it's a Marlin, and it's in 30-30. You can get all sorts of calibers for the Marlin, everything from 357, 44 mag. You can get the big rounds because it can handle it, because it's a heavier gun. I mean, if you take the two and you hold them, the Marlin is heavier than the Winchester. But there's advantages to having a gun that's lighter too. I mean, if you don't want the big rounds, I mean, that whatever. So I'm going to get in trouble with the Winchester people. So. The 336 is a direct descendant of the 1893 model. It's changed very little from then. One of the things that they changed was they made they put in a locking bolt, okay, and and a two-piece firing pin. If you've never taken a firing pin out of a Marlin, I can't take this apart. I promised my son that it's a virgin and he doesn't want me messing with it, so I won't. But inside there's a firing pin, and it's in two pieces like this. And one of the pieces, the back piece, sits down low like this. So when you cock it, it has this bolt that when it pushes up, it pushes the firing pin up also. So that puts it in line so you can shoot it. It's a safety issue, and that was done in 1936. And they were concerned about safety, and that was one of the other things that it has is it has an ejection port on the side. I don't believe they ever had one on top. On top, it's flat. It comes tap and died for scope, so it's easier to put a scope on it than it is the Winchester. My Winchester, and I know they make angle ejects now and stuff, but it ejects out the top. This came with a scope on it. I took the scope off because I didn't think it looked all that good, but it was a side mounted scope, so it went up and it came over, and when you ejected your round, it would come up and it would hit the scope and it would go off. And sometimes it would get stuck up under the scope, and that was a pain in the ass for that to happen. Well, with Marlin, you don't have to worry about that. Man, I might just talk myself into a Marlin, huh? The other thing that they have is, I'm sorry, for cleaning. What? Oh, I don't know if anybody's ever taken apart, and they may have taken apart a Model 94. Model 94. But inside, there's two pieces. You have this piece that locks onto the thing, and you have this piece which goes up and inserts itself into the bolt. So it's a two-piece system. The Marlin, on the other hand, is a one-piece system. It connects right here with a screw. When you pull it out and push it, there's just one piece. This piece goes up and connects to the bolt and anchors here. So it makes it simpler. You know, what you have with less problems. Not that I've ever had a problem with my Winchester as far as that goes, but the potential's there that things could happen. The other thing, there's several safety features that my Winchester doesn't have. Winchester actually did change it, but they have the half-cock hammer, so you can see it. It looks like, the first time I saw it, I said, man, something's wrong with that. It's not resting on the pin like it's supposed to. Well, it's not going to. It's a safety thing. You're carrying it. It's not cocked right now. And what happens is it keeps the hammer away from the firing pin area, so that way there it's a safety. The other thing that they put in, and Winchester did this for a while, and then people bitched about it, so they stopped doing it, is it's got the button. It's a cross safety, so that if you put that on, it'll hit, but it won't hit the striker on the inside. So that's one of the other things that it has that the Winchester doesn't. Winchester's pretty much stayed the same, it seems, and Marlin's kind of changed things around to accommodate what people would like. It has an 18.5-inch barrel, which is nice. It still has the loading door like the Winchester does. Has the metal sights. This one just has the metal sights in the front. It's squared off instead of round like Winchester's is. Um, it comes with, or this one comes with, swivels, which Winchester does not have swivels on theirs. So people put them on there, and you have to drill into the butt to put your one on here, and then there's a band type thing that goes around up here that you can use to attach a front swivel on. It has a curved handle, like the old Winchesters used to have the curved handle on it. This one has nice checkering on it. I mean, it's really deep, nice checkering. The wood is is beautiful on it. Even I would just leave the wood alone because it really looks nice. I'm trying to think of what other differences they have and what are the advantages to this rifle, other than that it's a really good rifle. I've fired them. I've never fired this one because, like I said, my son said it's a virgin, and he wants to be the first to do that. So, unless he wants to give it to me, then as a hint, no, that's not going to happen. And so anyway, this is the Marlin 336W. Oh, the W. It's like, what does the W stand for? I spent an evening trying to find out what the W stood for. You know, on the Winchesters, you have your side eject, and they put that on the or angle, so you have a Winchester 94 AE, which is angled ejection. So that makes sense, right? The closest I've come, and I know somebody's going to write me about this, and that's good because tell me what it really is. That the W stands for Walmart specifications. I know that sounds crazy. That can't be true, but that's the closest. I mean, nobody apparently Marlin's very uh, closed-mouthed about what that stands for, and but they used to sell them in Walmart, um, but maybe it does stand for Walmart specifications. I don't know. But anyway, man, we're already at 17 minutes. I could talk about these guns probably all day, and if you're in the area, come by. We'll sit and talk about them all day. But anyway, so I'm going to try to present more guns, and if there's people that are watching us that live near me that have guns that they would like to donate just for me to present, I'd like to do that. If they'd like to donate them to me, I'd take them too. But if they'd like to donate them just for the video, that would be fine. And I'd really like to do that because I initially started this up as a showcase for my guns, and it's kind of become a gunsmith type, because I'm not a gunsmith, type site, and I want to bring the gun people back, and so that they can see the guns. But anyway, thanks for watching, and I appreciate it. And unfortunately, we got some. I got to finish this series on that the Colombian, and we're moving right along with that. And anyway, anyway, Happy New Year, and thanks for watching. And we'll see you next year. Hopefully, we'll have a year of nice guns. So, thank you.